Last time on the Shaman King Breakdown, we met Yo, the chillest shonen protag ever and the focus of this story. With his spirit partner Amidamaru, he hopes to become the Shaman King, a savior who's able to speak with the Great Spirit.
But to achieve his dreams, he has to prove he's got the shaman hands. Every 500 years, 2 comets pass over the planet, symbolizing the coming of the next Shaman King. So a tournament is held to decide who is worthy.
Now shamans all over the world are making their way to Tokyo to participate. But how will Yo fare against all these new threats?
Well, we about to find out as we get knee-deep into the second arc of Shaman King, the Shaman Fights in Tokyo arc.
Play that intro, son. So the Shaman Fights in Tokyo arc is where shit really turns up. A bunch of new characters get introduced, the fights fucking evolve as more shamanic abilities are explained, and pacing makes it really hard to stop reading. Like when I read the first arc, I read a few chapters, put it down when I got bored, then came back to it. However, chapters 27 through 64 were just hype all the way through. Had to stop myself from reading everything in one sitting.
We begin with our boys, Yo and Amidamaru. They're chilling at their regular hangout spot, the cemetery, mulling over this whole shaman tournament shit.
It's been 6 months since they first met, and Maru's feeling a little anxious about the whole tournament. What if they're not strong enough? Shit can get serious real quick and Yo can die. But this is where Yo shows his unique protagonist ability, his optimism. He tells his bro, look man, yeah, we can sit here and worry about the unknown, but why bother? We have no idea what the future holds, so all we can do is move forward and do our best. Everything will work out. And I like this because the way Yo goes about this, he doesn't have some ignorant sense of optimism where he only sees sunshine and rainbows. He knows that he lives in a dark world and he's about to get into some dangerous shit, but he chooses to just relax and adapt because it makes more sense to focus on what you can do rather than possible futures. This is a real manga life lesson right here, fam. Optimism is a very powerful thing. Hell, even Amidamaru peeps the wisdom, saying he thinks that this may be Yo's true strength.
Then someone shows up who doesn't agree with our boy's philosophy. It's a shaman from the Patch tribe named Silva.
Now, the Patch tribe is a Native American tribe from the US. Only in Shaman King, by the way, they're not real. It's the Patch's job to oversee the shaman fight. Silva here is a member of the Shaman Fight selection committee, and he's arrived to test Yo and see if he's strong enough to enter this tournament.
The first thing Yo notices when the guy pulls up are the animals that surround him. These are his familiars, higher spirits that grant him different powers through the items he wears.
Arc just started and we're already adding some depth to the power system.
Once he finishes flexing, he tells Yo that to qualify for the shaman fight, all he has to do is land a blow on him within 10 minutes.
But Yo and Amidamaru are mad confused. Yo says that he never heard of the Patch tribe or any of this qualification shit. Nevertheless, the Silva guy seems legit, so he takes him up on his offer to fight.
Our guys integrate quickly, then pull up with the smoke. But nothing they do hurts Silva. The shaman official looks at him like, sorry kid, that whole fusing with your ghost thing won't work on me. I'm using my mana to materialize my spirits to protect me. You're gonna have to use your mana to attack me if you want something to land.
This makes Yo even more confused. He's never heard mana used in this context before, and he's never seen someone use higher spirits like this before either. But Silva's not here to give him any answers. He tells the kid to use his wits and figure it out for himself.
Then this man Silva drops his own manga life lesson. He tells Yo that wisdom, like genius, is a flash of insight, the ability to bring forth something from nothing, the ability to understand the ineffable. This wisdom is essential for the Shaman King to have. If Yo can't grab the concept of something like this on his own, then how the hell does he expect to become the savior of humanity? That's some real shit right there.
Yo tries his best to understand what Silva is doing differently from him, but his efforts lead nowhere.
And Silva's spirits are talking shit about him, so that doesn't help.
Then he notices something. Each higher spirit is emanating from a different item Silva has on, and each item symbolizes the corresponding spirit in some way. This is when the flash of insight kicks in. He realizes that he needs some sort of medium to materialize his spirit through, and he needs to use his mana to solidify his spirit. So he grabs Amidamaru and integrates him into Harusame instead of himself. The interaction leads to an explosion of mana. Then Silva watches with a smile on his face as he witnesses Yo's oversoul for the first time. The officiant congratulates him on this accomplishment. He's taken a liking to this kid because of his fight and he respects his determination. But in true anime fashion, he turns that respect into violence. He combines all of his spirits together, like straight up Power Ranger style, and forms his ultimate weapon, the totem cannon.
Silva looks at Yo like, alright kid, you've gotten past step 1. Now step 2 is fending off my strongest attack. If you manage to go through my blast with your attack, then you win. But if you don't, you'll die. My man went from 0 to 1000 for no reason. What happened to just laying a hit on him?
At first, Yo is shook. I mean, we still early in the video and someone is already trying to catch a body. But Yo prepares regardless because he knows if he backs down now, he'll never have the easy life he always wanted.
Astounded Astounded by Yo's courage, Silva shoots his cannon while Yo unleashes the Budagiri on his own.
Yeah, doing it so much with the Mitamaru made it easy for him to remember the movement. So through his shaman training, he's indirectly mastered some samurai techniques too.
The beam clashes with Yo's sword, but Yo manages to not only overcome the blast, but also cut Silva's cannon clean in half, along with his bandana.
With that, Yo is declared the winner and is now officially a participant in the Shaman tournament. Silva grants him the Oracle Pager, a device that, get this, communicates directly with the Great Spirit.
So they just have God in their contacts list now? That's crazy.
Well, they can't send anything to the Great Spirit with it. The pager will just send its users instructions on who to fight and what to do next. Shamans will gain points based on how they conform to shamanic standards, and the one with the most points in the end will become Shaman King.
After explaining all the rules, he wishes Yo luck on the rest of his battles. Then he dips to randomly attack some other shaman. But after this, we get a look at another efficient fight that happened somewhere else. This one is for Ren, the same kid who attacked Yo back in the first arc. This crazy ass child managed to pass his test, but he fucking killed the efficient in the process.
And that's pretty scary since this was a grown ass man with years of experience. The rest of the patch find the corpse and they're baffled by how death came this early. But in a weird way, they're also hyped because this could be the coming of a strong king.
Silva enters the scene and his heart immediately sinks. This guy was his friend. This was just supposed to be a test. Now his friend is dead. However, the rest of the patch are like, get it together, Silva. You're an efficient. The fuck you doing caring for the dead and shit? Technically speaking, Ren didn't break any rules by killing the efficient, so they see no reason in getting mad.
That's cold as fuck, but okay. Anyways, after that whole mess, we return to Yo and the gang. He made it back home with the Oracle Pager in hand and told his friends about the wild shit he had to go through. Then his pager starts ringing. His first preliminary match has been decided. To move on to the next step of the tournament, he has to win 2 out of 3 of these matches. And these fights don't work like regular fights. These fights are completely based on your mana and oversoul. The person who loses their oversoul first is declared the loser. So even if you're still conscious, if you can't make an oversoul, then you out.
His first match is with Horo Horo, the Ainu.
For those who don't know, the Ainu were indigenous people of the island of Hokkaido. This is real history, by the way. According to akanainu.jp, they believe that much of the natural world was a manifestation of gods and or spirits. Therefore, they treated nature with the highest respect to show respect to the gods. Bruh, whoever said manga can't teach you shit is a liar. Never knew about any of that until reading Shaman King. Anyways, being an Ainu, Horo Horo is also very much in tune with nature, but we'll get into that later. We move back to Manta, Yo, and Anna. Manta is the most stressed about Yo's shaman fight because it's in 2 weeks and Yo just learned how to materialize his oversoul. But Yo's like, bro, chill, I've got a Mitamaru with me. Everything will work out, you'll see.
Then Anna comes in and even she agrees that Yo just needs to relax. He's been through enough training. He needs to spend the next 2 weeks resting.
With that, Manta relaxes a little more. Then 2 weeks go by hella fast. Yo and the squad make it to the location of his preliminary match, and there they're met by Horo Horo. Now I'm not gonna hold you, when I first saw this character, he gave me big Kiba from Naruto vibes. Like he seemed like the dude who talks all kind of shit, but gets bodied in the end anyways. However, fam, he's way cooler than that, and he's not like Ryu where you gotta wait for his shine. I think Horo Horo starts off as a very likable character. The guy enters the scene on top of a skyscraper, busts out his spirit ally Kororo, then snowboards down the building like a true G.
Until Anna decks him for calling the outfit she made for Yo stupid.
After introductions, the shaman fight commences. Horo Horo integrates Kororo into his board and starts throwing all the ice moves at Yo. But our boy is spending more time dodging than actually fighting back.
Yo, what you doing?
After a series of attacks from his opponent, Yo stops by asking Horo Horo, wait, bro, before we fight, I gotta know your dream.
And everyone is taken aback by this because they're in the middle of a battle. This kid is trying to kill him. The fuck is known about his dream gonna do?
Regardless, Horo Horo entertains Yo's question. He tells him that when he becomes Shaman King, he wants to create a huge field of butterbird plants. Now I know that seems lame as fuck, but you gotta listen to this guy's reasoning. He's doing this to save his spirit ally and her people. See, Kororo comes from a race of small beings known as Koropokor. These guys lived under butterbird plants and were close friends of the Ainu people. And this is, once again, based on real history. The Koropokor were spoken about in Ainu folklore. They believe that these small people inhabited Hokkaido before they did, and they were known for giving the Ainu people deer, fish, and other goods. Anyways, back to the Shaman King plot. The advancement of human society led to the slow destruction of butterbird fields over the years. So now the Koropokor are nearing extinction. Therefore, Horo Horo's dream is more than just being about butterbird plants. He wants to save his friends from extinction and save the damn environment. If that's not a notable as fuck dream, I don't know what is.
Yo loves the dream too. Hell, he loves it so much that he straight up tells Horo Horo that he should be the Shaman King. My man said, screw my dream, your own is way cooler.
But after getting the sense smacked into him by Anna, he realizes he can't just forget about his dream, even if it does seem kinda shallow. I mean, he just wants to live an easy life, while Horo wants to save an entire ancient race. So Yo decides that he's just gonna have to make this guy's dream come true when he becomes a Shaman King. Kill two birds with one stone.
Annoyed by how casually Yo is taking all this, Horo begins attacking again. This time Yo is ready though. He counters everything the Ice Kid has to throw at him, and even schools him by telling him that his posture gives away what he's gonna do.
The back and forth gives the Ice Kid some newfound respect for Yo, but he's done with the bullshit. He goes for broke and uses all of his powers to summon a giant avalanche. Inspired, Yo matches his energy and uses all of his strength to clash with Horo.
Their attacks meet, and the person left standing is Boyard Akuno. But from out of the snow, Yo appears with his oversoul still intact. He launches one last attack at his adversary, but misses on purpose because Horo's oversoul has died out.
With that, Yo lands his first victory in the Shaman fight, and both Silva and Golova peeped how much work our boy put in. A few hours later, we find the gang having a celebratory party at the inn, and surprisingly, Horo pulled up to the party too. Their fight built his admiration for Yo, so now he's a bro. Plus, the way he sees it, he'll just have to plow through the next two prelim matches to make it into the tournament. No big deal.
After a night of celebrating, Horo's little sister Perka comes in and drags his ass back home. If he's trying to win the rest of his matches, then he's gonna need to train.
Meanwhile, we find Yo and Manta reviewing everything that happened. Because of the fight with Horo, Yo is now thinking about what this tournament can do to dreams. If there can only be one winner, then what's gonna happen to everyone else's dreams? And I'm glad this conversation came up because this is some real shit. Yo has his dream, yes, but he also likes making friends and he wants his friends to be happy too. Being Shaman King is great, but is it worth destroying the dreams of the people he's met so far?
This is when Manta hits him with even more realness, like I do with Donchi 24/7. He tells him, I mean, yes, Yo, this is a tournament. People are gonna lose and people are gonna get sad. But the mere fact that you care is already a good sign of a king. I think as Shaman King, it is your job to create a world where people can continue to dream.
Moments like these are nice because they give Yo a moment to assess why he's doing this in the first place. His dream of living an easy life is kinda selfish, so watching him change his mindset and get more focused because of the people he meets is just good character growth. And this continues to happen as he meets more people throughout the Shaman fight. Some shamans make him realize why becoming Shaman King is so important, while others make him take a look back at his dream and wonder whether his reasoning for becoming Shaman King is enough. It's relatable, and it's nice to see Yo question the beliefs that he used to be so sure about. Anyways, after that moment of growth, we move to the bustling streets of Tokyo. There we find Silva and the efficient who tested Horo, Kaleem.
Originally, Kaleem stopped by to ask for some money. For whatever reason, the Pash decides to send them over to Tokyo with nothing. So now they're in foreign land, barely making any cash as street vendors.
Unfortunately for Kaleem, Silva is broke as fuck too. However, Kaleem still has an important message for his friend. He tells Silva to pull Yo out of the next prelim fight. If Yo tries to fight the psycho he's been set up against, then he will surely die. Now, as inefficient, Silva isn't allowed to take sides in this matter, but this man really fucks with Yo. And for reasons that you'll find out about in the future, they kinda need Yo.
So when he hears this news, he's like, well, can't have that. Then on the day of the fight, he goes to confront Yo and the squad.
He finds him in a cemetery and speaks with Anna, since she's obviously Yo's coach. Silva sits her down and says, look, you probably don't want to hear this, but Yo needs to forfeit this next match. The shaman he's about to fight killed the last one he fought, and he's a goddamn necromancer. Necromancers are sorcerers who originated from Europe, who are able to integrate ghosts with their corresponding corpses.
The reason why this just isn't good is because the match is in the cemetery. The environment is perfect for a necromancer.
Learning this pisses Anna off. Why the hell is the whole deck stacked against Yo? What is wrong with the Great Spirit? Does he just not want Yo to become Shaman King? After the rant, Silva then asks what she plans to do. Will Yo still fight his opponent? And to both Silva's and my surprise, she says that Yo is still gonna fight. She loves Yo, therefore she has the utmost faith in him. Yo will win, and Yo will become the Shaman King. So if you had any doubts about Anna being best girl, I hope this moment destroyed those doubts for you.
This brings us back to Yo and Manta, who have just been confronted by Yo's opponent, Faust the Eighth. This man comes from a line of famous doctors from Germany. The first Dr. Faust apparently participated in the last Shaman King tournament, but he failed. Now Faust the Eighth is continuing his research by entering this shaman fight in Tokyo.
But the weird thing about him is that he comes off kinda nice. Like he introduces himself to Yo and Manta with a sense of warmness that makes him seem unthreatening. That kind demeanor soon goes away though, when he notices how odd Manta's body is. He's the same age as Yo, but he's so short. It's abnormal. He must study him.
With that, Faust just decides to snatch Manta up without permission. He summons a bunch of skeletons from the cemetery and commands them to chase after the poor child.
Yo's like, whoa, the match didn't even start yet. The fuck are you doing? Plus, Manta isn't even fighting you.
But Faust don't give a shit. He stops Yo from retaliating with his spirit partner Eliza. She's the ghost of someone Faust loved, but she dies, so he uses her spirit as his weapon while using her remains as his medium. This man is fucking gross.
With Yo preoccupied, Faust goes to Manta and pulls out his scalpel. Now at first I was watching this scene thinking, there is no way this man's about to experiment on Manta right here. Yo is gonna pull some clutch shit and save his boy at the last minute. He has to. But no, I was so wrong. This man uses a scalpel to literally open up Manta's chest.
Oh god, this boy Manta's about to die.
Yo comes rushing in and smacks Faust with his sword. Then while he's checking on Manta, the crazy doctor gets up like the hit was nothing.
Now the countdown for the fight has started. Faust blasts back by summoning another horde of skeletons, but Yo snaps. He looks at Faust with that face that says, boy, you done fucked up. Then destroys the horde of skeletons with one swing of his oversoul.
Faust then goes into defensive and summons a barrier of bones, but Yo destroys that shit and connects with another swing of his oversoul. Now the match has officially begun, and Yo is playing no games. Manta has his chest wide open, and it's raining. They need to go see a doctor like yesterday. Faust once again gets up after taking Yo's attack. He reveals that he anesthetized himself with so much morphine that he can no longer feel pain. So if he breaks a bone, all he has to do is surgically replace it.
What kind of wild, broken shit?
Yo continues to go on his rampage to save Manta. However, he realizes that the skeletons he's killing are just putting themselves back together after he destroys them. So Yo is exhausting himself for nothing.
Before the kid realizes his huge mistake, his oversoul begins to falter. He collapses due to lack of mana, then Silva and Anna show up.
The shaman efficient is waiting to save Yo just in case Faust tries to kill him. Anna, on the other hand, just walks up on the battlefield to take a look at Manta.
Angered by the fact that someone is trying to take away his specimen, Faust prepares to launch an attack at Anna, but Yo stops him with the little mana he has left. They still have a fight to finish.
Faust acknowledges Yo's grit, then focuses his mana to summon his true oversoul, the resurrected Eliza.
Yo attempts to fight her, but he can't do damage because his oversoul is way too weak. So Eliza uses this chance to severely wound the kid, breaking 3 of his ribs. Yo, can we just talk about how wild it is that this grown-ass doctor is just cool with breaking a kid's ribs? This man is like 34! What the fuck?
Conscience, you know what it is, bro.
It's that anime shit.
Anyways, after taking that horrible blow to the side, Yo still gets up. He says, I think my wisdom just kicked in. Then faces Eliza and Faust once again. Looks like he has a plan now.
The doctor and his lover continue beating on the poor child, but Yo just dodges and waits. He only has so much mana to spare, so he can't go using it unless he finds a clear shot.
Then, the opening thread reveals itself. While Eliza charges at him, he counters by severing her legs, but that move wasn't enough to end the fight. He collapses immediately due to loss of mana. And unfortunately, Faust is still good since his oversoul never dissipated.
So that adds 1 L under Yo's belt. Hate to see it.
What's interesting about this loss though is how Yo reacts. My man breaks down. Yo, the guy who said everything would work out in the end, the guy who doesn't let anything get to him, he starts crying about all this. Things didn't work out the way he thought it would and his friend almost died because of it. Shit sucks. This is all part of his character development though. He was taking things too easy, so he needed a slap in the face to show him how real this shit can get. This loss will do way more good than harm.
Nah, this loss is about to do even more harm. Y'all forgot about what happened right before Yo lost. This dude just cut off Eliza's legs. Faust's dead lover. So right now, the doctor is furious. He uses the rest of his mana to summon a skeleton titan. He's stopped by another shaman before he's able to attack.
It's the edgelord himself, Ren. My man enters the area and takes out Faust in one swoop. Also, he makes a joke about how brittle the medium's bones are and how he drinks a bunch of milk a day. And it's funny because this seems like an FMA reference, even though FMA didn't even come out yet. I say this because Ren has that big ass spike on his head, he's short, and he's talking about milk positively. Ed Elric, one of the protagonists of FMA, is also short, and though it's not as pronounced as Ren's own, he does have a hair pointing up on his head like a spike. But Ed hates milk, so I thought there was a connection here, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Moving on, Ren looks down on his old adversary after handling Faust. He looks at Yo like, heh, you're just a third-rate shaman with a fourth-rate oversoul. Don't take my kindness the wrong way though. I only saved you so I can have the glory of defeating you myself.
Then the spike cycle reveals that he will be Yo's next opponent. Their fight will be in 3 months, so Yo better get his ass ready.
After Yo's left with this chilling message, some time goes by, and we move to Manta, who is now recovered and in the hospital. While there, he gets a visit from his family, and for the first time we see Manta's father, Mansumi Oyamada, head of the electronics giant Oyamada Co. His father comes into the hospital room and slaps the shit out of him, telling him that it's time he moved to the States with his family.
They left him here and he's barely escaped death way too many times. They want their boy safe and away from the riffraff that is Yo.
Manta's not trying to hear it though. Yo is his friend and he wants to chill with him some more, regardless of all the times his mortality was played with.
So in response to his family bashing his way of life, Manta runs out of his room only to find Yo, Amidamaru, and Anna in the next room.
Manta apologizes for getting involved in the match against Faust and kinda costing Yo the whole fight, cause let's be real, Yo could have definitely won if he wasn't wilding out about Manta dying and shit. But after the apology, Yo actually agrees with him. He tells Manta that things are getting too dangerous, and he'll only get in the way if he continues to follow them on this shaman journey. He should just leave, they can't be friends anymore.
The poor kid doesn't know how to take this. Here he thought Yo was his first friend. Now this guy's telling him to get lost. I thought we were homies, bro. Remember when I got you that sword when you were getting your ass handed to you by a martial arts master? What happened to that?
With that, Manta runs out the room in despair. But as you guys could probably guess, Yo didn't want to do all that. Manta is his boy for life, but that's just the reason why he can't stay with him.
Faust beat him and even attacked Manta, who was just in the crossfire. Now he has to deal with this murderer Ren, who's even stronger than Faust. He can't risk Manta dying. Hell, he's not trying to risk anything at this point. After Manta leaves, Yo decides that he's going back to Izumo. He needs another training arc to get ready for his fight against his rival.
The next day, we find Manta waiting in the airport. It looks like he's actually gonna go to the US to live with his fam, but something hits him. Yo was one of the kindest guys he's ever met. When would Yo ever cast his friend away? And since when did he blame other people for his losses? That's not like him at all. So determined to help his friend out, or at least figure out what's going on with him, Manta tells off his mom, then runs off to go find Yo.
Now we back in Izumo. Yo sitting with his grandfather Yome and the guy's like, so, you got your ass beat and now you're trying to get your anime training arc power boost. Aight, but it won't be easy. You're gonna have to die to increase your mana.
And this is where we get some more info on the power system, because we're in Izumo, that always happens here. So Yome tells Yo that mana is a measure of a shaman's sixth sense. It's a born trait, so unlike the other senses, it can't be increased through training. The only way to increase your mana is to cast aside your flesh and refine your soul by going through a pseudo-death. To do this, they head to a place called the Cavern of Shamans, one of the openings in the Netherworld.
The cavern is dark as fuck. Like we're talking SpongeBob, Rock Bottom, advanced darkness in this bitch.
This isn't your average everyday darkness. This is advanced darkness.
In order to go through this pseudo-death, he has to travel through this cave for 7 days and 7 nights. All of his primary senses will be stripped from him, so he'll only have his sixth sense to guide him. Some of the greatest shamans died with their minds destroyed from this challenge, so this is some next level last resort type training shit.
But even after hearing all that, Yo decides to go through with the challenge. He wants to be Shaman King, and he's definitely not at the level where he needs to be for that. So to protect his dreams and his friends, he enters the abyss.
And his grandfather watches him go like, my nigga.
Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Manta is freaking out trying to figure out where Yo ran off to. Then in the middle of his pacing, he finds Wooden Sword Ryu.
Aw, damn, here we go.
Our boy.
Your boy. He's your boy. I don't claim that dude.
Okay. My boy is here because he plans on going to the States. He wants to become a famous sushi chef then return to Japan.
Well, at least he's not stalking people anymore.
Manta is stunned by the fact that Ryu is here, but he's still focused on this whole Yo situation. Fortunately for him though, Ryu knows that he went to Izumo.
How the hell does he know that?
It's his pompadour, bro. It's like an antenna, it gives him Wi-Fi.
Shut up, Doji. Anyways, Ryu decides that he wants to see Yo too, so he puts his whole sushi chef dream on hold to personally take Manta to Izumo.
Okay, you gotta admit, that was pretty dope of Ryu to do.
Ryu will never win me over, Doji. Stop trying. Oh, and you forgot to mention that this dumbass's pompadour is growing in layers now. She looks dumb as fuck. Moving on, after a 10-hour trip, Manta and Ryu finally make it to Izumo, but they're stopped by someone named Tamao.
This girl is Yo's father's pupil, therefore she's known Yo for a pretty long time. Apparently she loves the kid.
Oh shit, so Yo has a harem?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well damn, Yo, I see you.
Tamao was here to stop Manta and Ryu from going any further. Before all this, she received the divination that 2 calamities were approaching to disturb Yo's training. Being Yo's biggest fan, she can't have that. She busts out her spirit allies, Panchi and Conchi. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, so far, these are the only spirits I just don't like. They're freaking trolls who would ruin shit just to get a quick laugh. They remind me of Ren and Stimpy, but this Stimpy has the personality of Ren, so it's like Ren in Stimpy's body.
Using her spirit allies, Tamao starts beating on Manta and Ryu, telling him to leave. Manta's like, bro, we just came here to check on Yo. I didn't even know he was going through a training arc. But Tamao ain't hearing it because she's stuck on her divinations, and her love for Yo is probably making her way overprotective. Let's be real. So she responds to Manta's pleas for help with her oversoul, Cupid. Damn, this kid just got out the hospital and he's already about to die. Feels bad.
Before she's able to literally shoot her shot, Anna steps in with Amidamaru. She's like, Ponchi, Conchi, cut the shit. The spirits immediately stop and apologize to Manta and Ryu because apparently they lied about the whole divination thing because they were bored.
That's fucked up. But I kind of fuck with the savagery though.
No, hell no, we don't respect Ponchi and Conchi in these streets.
Man, if you're allowed to like wooden creep Ryu, then I'm allowed to like whoever the hell I want. Anyways, after the apology, Anna tells everyone that it's time for them to go reunite with Yo. It's been 7 days. It's about time for him to finish his mini training arc.
Manta and Ryu are confused about all this, so Anna explains what's going on along the way. But everyone is pretty worried because they realize how inhumane this training is.
They obviously don't have faith in our boy Yo though, because when they're all worried about what kind of condition he's in, he walks out the place fine. I mean, he's a little dirty, but he's chilling.
His friends are actually shook by how chill he is, but the bro's hungry, so they head back to the crib.
That night, he and Manta sit down to talk about what went down at the hospital.
Yeah, last time these guys spoke, Yo called him stupid for being with them. But Yo basically tells him that that was all for show, and he's happy that even after that, he still wants to be his friend.
Then Yome comes in and kills the moment. He looks at his grandson like, don't think I was about to make you sleep without showing me how you improved.
Anna then shows up and hands him the Harusame. Then Yome summons an army of leaf spirits. He tells his grandson to square up, then sends them all at him. With the quickness, Yo unleashes his oversoul and wipes out all the leaf spirits in one sweep. And fam, my boy's new oversoul is looking clean. Shit looks dope as fuck, and Amidamaru can actually communicate with him while in this form.
Even Yo is shocked by his new oversoul, and his grandfather is hella proud. My man's looking at his grandson like, damn bro, this kid might actually win.
Meanwhile, in Tokyo, we meet back up with Silva. He and his bro are wasting away in their small apartment with no AC until they get a call from the boss man, Galva.
The chief informs the officials about something they've been neglecting for a little while. Since Ren killed the person who tested him for the Shaman tournament, he doesn't have an officiant to guide him. And his fight with Yo was just around the corner, so they can't have that. So he pulls out the most screwed up request ever. This man asked Silva to guide Ren. Guide the same kid who killed his best friend. What kind of shit is that?
Well, I think it's because they have to keep a neutral stance on this. Just look at how they treated Silva when he actually found his friend's corpse. People dead said, you're a shaman, suck it up.
It's still cold as shit though.
Oh hell yeah, there's no denying that. However, after Golda asks Silva to scrap his emotions once again, the plot moves to China, where we finally get a look at the Tao estate. Within, we find Jun talking to her and Ren's father, Tao Yuan. He starts going on about how the Taos were the greatest shamans in China, but they were cast aside by society after they brought about an age of peace in the country. And as he's getting heated about the history of his family, he crushes a freaking panda for no reason. Why? What is your problem, bro?
I now see why Ren is so fucked up.
Yeah, but this is the reason why Yuan wants Ren to become Shaman King.
To kill pandas?
What? No, they want revenge for being thrown out like garbage after doing so much for their country.
Ah, yeah, that makes more sense.
However, as you all know, Ren is not cool with his family. He wants to break the cycle of hatred by becoming the Shaman King, even if that means taking down his own blood to do so.
Kid is starting to sound like Jin from Tekken.
With that, the day of the fight between Ren and Yo arrives. Yo and Manta make it to the match location early, and of course, our boy Shortstack is stressed.
Not Yo though, my man's chilling eating ice cream.
Then an ominous wind passes through the cemetery they're in. After that, Ren pops in out of nowhere on his horse.
Rolled up like a real G. Don't know how that oversized cape is on him though, but it's still lit.
Ren is like, it's time, slacker. Last time I let you defeat me and disgrace my ego, but now I know not to underestimate you. I'll kill you here and continue on my path to become Shaman King. And Yo, being as carefree as possible, responds with, yo, what up, Ren? That entrance was fire, bro. But sorry, I'ma be the one taking the W today.
The match begins. Ren instantly activates his oversoul and lunges at Yo, promising to end this match in one blow. But when the smoke clears after the attack, Yo is gone. He dodged the move and activated his new and improved oversoul.
Now Ren is intrigued. His assumption was right. Yo has gotten much stronger. He goes in for more attacks, but Yo continues to parry them. Then Yo blows him away with his Budagiri.
Ren gets up from the attack almost unfazed. Then he reveals that he was only using a small fraction of his mana pool. He activates his oversoul again using more of his mana, and this time it looks way more threatening. This shit is dead as a spear with Ma Sun's body on the top.
With his much stronger oversoul, Ren overwhelms Yo and severely damages his oversoul.
Silva appears at this point, since he's now the guide for both Yo and Ren, but he's worried for Yo. The reason why Yo is getting bodied right now is because his oversoul is just not strong enough.
The shaman officiant explains that shamans use mana to form their oversoul, but once that oversoul is formed, the shaman doesn't need to exhaust any more mana until they need to make a new oversoul. In this situation, Ren pumped up his OS with way more mana than Yo did, so it's much stronger. Therefore, each of Ren's attack are destroying Yo's weak oversouls. The only way Yo can beat Ren is by creating an oversoul stronger than his, but he can't do that if he's burning through his mana pool like this.
Surprisingly, Yo realizes this as Ren is straight bullying him. He knows that Ren is just pouring more mana into his oversoul, and he knows that to win he's gonna have to create an even stronger oversoul. But get this, he doesn't want to. Like, he actually just doesn't want to do it. He believes that if he really pushes himself, he can do it, but he doesn't even know how to go about it.
Now at first I was taken aback by this because Yo was talking all this mess about winning today because he has to. But now he doesn't want to push himself? The hell are you doing? But then in a beautifully done scene, he reminisces on his fight with Faust and the training arc he went through. He states that pushing himself past his limits is not his thing. He tried that against Faust and look where that got him. Those two situations taught him to stick to his guns and be himself. If he forcefully tries to become someone he's not, then he'll just lose sight of himself and miss out on the chance of achieving his dream. It took me a minute, but I like what he's saying here. At first I thought Yo was just shunning pushing yourself, and I'm not down for that. You should always push yourself. That's how you do your best in whatever you're doing. However, forcing yourself to be someone you're not and losing sight of yourself is not cool. There is real power in just being you and believing in what you can do, and I feel like that's the lesson Yo's trying to teach here.
Well, Ren don't give a shit about Yo's life lesson. He pounces on my boy again, and Yo meets him with his own attack. Then to Ren's chagrin, Yo actually pierces the Masa and Oversoul and manages to destroy it.
Silva is shook by this, so is Ren. Then Yo uses the surprise to his advantage and takes out Ren's Oversoul a second time.
But in the process, he had to go through a bunch of his own oversouls to protect himself from Ren's attacks.
Now both Yo and Ren are pretty low on mana, so Ren resorts to his trump card. He calls it his horse, then integrates the spirit of Heitao, Ma-san's warhorse, into his horse. Then he pours the rest of his mana into Ma-san's oversoul. He plans on ending this battle now with one strike.
But before we get to that, we've got to go to China for some backstory. We're back in the Tao estate, where we find Jin and her father chatting about Ren. It looks like the fight with Yo really did change her, because she begs her father to release Ren. All Ren knows is violence. He grew up around bloodshed and carnage, and that's what made him the insane murderer he is today.
The reality is that Ren is in pain because of his family, and because of this pain and this furious rage he has burning inside him, Jin doesn't believe her brother will win against Yo.
This gets her father pissed. He's like, girl, the hell you talking about? That kid Yo is trash.
Jin responds by speaking on her experience with fighting Yo. She tells her father that he has a special gift. He was able to get emotions out of her that she thought she suppressed long ago. His infinite warmth and incredible optimism made her see life differently, and that attitude may have the power to change Ren too. This brings us back to the fight with Yo and Ren. The edgelord charges at our boy, and Yo decides that he's just gonna take his attack head on. Using what he saw Ren do, he figures out how to pour mana into his oversoul, and meets Ren's attack with all the mana he has left.
Their clash leads to a huge explosion. Then once the smoke clears, Ren admits defeat. His OS has dispersed. He realizes now that brute force isn't enough to become Shaman King. Yo is adaptable, like the wind, and raw power isn't able to beat the wind.
But after that whole speech, Yo says that his mana ran out too. Silva appears after watching the whole fight in the background and is like, well, your mana ran out at the same time, so it's a draw. So let's see what the Great Spirit decides. After saying that, Goldva and the rest of the pack show up as if on cue, and the chieftain states that the Great Spirit has spoken. They will both be allowed to continue in this tournament.
Now it's time for the opening ceremony, the event where they'll get their first look at the rest of the shamans who'll be testing their might in this tournament.
But we'll get into that in part 3, where we'll cover the rest of the shaman fight in Tokyo arc. There is more that we can cover here, but we think it makes more sense to split this arc into the prelim arc than the next part we're going to cover, which is focused on Ren. As for this part of the manga, I had way more fun reading it than the last part. I feel like we're still kinda in the intro, but characters are getting introduced more and the plot is getting into full swing. What was really well done with this arc though, was the growth of Yo. Each fight he went through in this part taught him something different about being a shaman, and also taught him how serious the shaman tournament is. He did a lot of growing here, especially in the fight with Faust. However, they didn't turn him into some super serious edgelord like Ren. We still have the same Yo here, but he's just more focused now, and as you guys will soon see, focused Yo is God tier.
But let's not just exclude the shit that's going on with Ren here. If anyone did a bunch of growing in this arc, it would be him. Even if it was just when he was fighting Yo. We know this kid is a murder demon, but the manga is giving us a reasoning for this by showing how wild his family is. I feel like if anyone had a family like that, they'd be a murder demon too. However, Ren's second fight with Yo taught him what his problem was, and this starts his redemption arc that lasts for a good portion of the manga.
Yo really out here changing people with them hands of optimism. But outside of the characters, can we talk about how lit the Shaman King power system is so far? Bruh, oversouls are one of the coolest anime powers I've ever come across. It can be utilized in so many ways, and we've only seen a few. One of my favorite oversouls so far belongs to Silva. First off, the way he uses his familiars is cool as shit. Second, the Power Ranger Mega Gun he formed had the dopest design. It seems like the author added some mecha elements to his art style, and I fuck with it heavy. Yo's oversoul is dope for right now, but it gets way better in the near future. And wait till you see all the crazy ass oversouls we run into in the coming chapters.
But we'll get into all that and more when we continue the rest of this arc in part 3 of our Shaman King breakdown.
With that being said, end screen. Yo fam, I hope you're doing well and thank you for watching part 2 of my Shaman King breakdown. So much more to cover. Next time we're gonna get into an arc covering Ren, and I cannot wait for it. But if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like it, helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you want to see more of me, and hit that bell if you want to be notified whenever I upload new content. Shout out to all my patrons. Without you guys, I would not be able to make content like this. I really appreciate you guys. The money you guys are giving is really helping me out. And shout out to my Gold Squad patrons: Curtis Clarkson, Dylan Boatner, G Haven Esports Team, and Iron Poet. Appreciate you guys so much for how much you give for the channel, and thank you once again for just helping me stay afloat and continue doing what I'm doing. But if you cannot become a patron, it's all good fam. You just being here watching the video till the end really helps me out a lot, so thank you for your support still. But with that being said, I am off this, so as usual, be easy, stay lit, take care, stay healthy out there, and don't forget, you can do whatever the hell you put your mind to. All it takes is practice and time. Peace out, fam.